Kia ora everyone, this is Calli and we are just getting Andre now onto the live stream
But
now.
I see we're
Apologize,
live.
we are live indeed.
Okay. Hello.
At last. We were having more technical issues for some bizarre reason.
Yeah.
Between Zoom and Facebook, it kind of is a little bit mind-boggling
Yeah.
at times, but welcome, Andre. It's so lovely to have you here. And after all those technical issues, it's even
Yeah.
better to have you here
It's
today.
wonderful. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
And if you're watching live, please feel free to put any questions in the chat,
Mm,
and I will get them to Andre as soon as they come up.
yeah. That'd be great.
Andre, let's take a deep breath because it's been a bit of a
Yeah.
a
I'm
schmoggle
ready.
getting here.
I'm
But yes, could you tell us a little about yourself and your journey to where you've come to where you are at the moment, even though you're
Absolutely.
at such a young age?
Thank
It's remarkable.
you. Thank you. Yeah, so my name is Andre. I'm originally from South Africa, but right after university, my wife and I moved together to China to start working. Yeah, so I'm a husband at the ripe old age of 25. I'm a teacher. I'm a PowerPoint creator, PowerPoint games mostly. And most notably for this live, I'm a mindset and life transformation coach and an author of Unstoppable, which is pretty cool.
Which
Uh,
is
as
a
a,
remarkable
I
book.
would say as a coach and as a person, it's just kind of my intention and my general outlook on life to just keep seeing people for their true potential. And I think that's what first put me onto the path of coaching and writing this book is just I really want to show people their true potential and I it's my aim and my goal to help people unlock their true potential and create the life that they'd like for themselves, a few years back when my wife and I made the decision to come to China. That's a big move, but it
Mm.
was it was our decision and our choice to create the life that we thought we wanted. And it ended up being a good decision. And I feel like that experience and the other things in my life that have happened have really put me on this path to coaching and writing a book and being here with you. Yeah.
And as I said, you've packed a whole lot into your relatively short life, and it is quite remarkable, absolutely
Thank you.
remarkable. Your insight and your ability to see how life works. Um, I remember it being 25 and kind of traveling the world and not being awfully self-aware. So it's absolutely it's absolutely wonderful to see somebody
Thank you.
who's so young and so self-aware. Um,
That's
what
kind.
is
Thank you.
your book Unstoppable all about?
I'm gonna say it's about everything. Really, if I had to give it a word, I'm not sure if this category of books exists, but I'm gonna call it like a self-coaching book. It's a self-coaching tool and a self-coaching guide because it's essentially a distillation of the kind of the key elements and the concepts that I work through in my coaching program. Um, and what it is it's a book that's an opportunity and a tool for people to just take a few moments to sit with themselves and reflect and kind of ask themselves the big questions that really matter in our lives. And this book, Unstoppable, really gives people kind of a useful guide on how to ask these questions, what questions to ask. Yeah,
Wonderful, absolutely
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
I've read through the book and I was absolutely amazed at the wisdom actually and the clarity in it. So definitely a must read for young and old.
Mm.
You know, all of us
And
could do with some of it. So
yeah,
what
and it
prompted
was
you to write it?
well, I think the first part was I just wanted coaching and this kind of knowledge and information to be accessible to more people. I think it overcomes, I wrote it to overcome three main barriers. The first one would be a financial barrier. Obviously, coaching and self-help and this industry, it's not always cheap. I'll admit that it's not always cheap. So a book it's a more accessible way to get access to this information. It's obviously much, much cheaper than a coaching program. So it kind of overcomes that financial barrier. And I think the second part would be it overcomes a social barrier. People don't always like asking for help. It's sometimes it's even seen as a sign of weakness, which is a little sad and it's untrue. And so this book
Oh,
is kind of
absolutely.
it's a self-help, self-coaching book, which means you can take these steps, you can ask yourself these important questions, you can journey into your mind,
Yes.
into everything that's there, who you are, what your life is, where you want to go. And you can do it without the fear of, interacting with other people sometimes, being vulnerable, sharing about your
Yes.
life, even without
Yes.
the fear of judgment, because nobody is going to judge you. And even in the book, I mention at the very beginning, like just doing a little bit means success. It's already you being successful.
Yeah.
And I think the third reason would it overcomes a knowledge barrier. People don't necessarily know or have access to a lot of information about what a mindset is, you know, even about how to achieve your goals, how to maintain good habits, how to be kind to other people, how to identify outcomes and problems and work through them. There's not really a lot of easily accessible or understandable information about that. So I like to think it overcomes that barrier. And which reminds me, I wrote it also uh, for my mom, and in a way so that my mom would be able to understand the book,
I love it.
which sounds a bit strange. But if you knew my mom and if you knew, our relationship, that would make more sense because I thought, well, if it can't help my mom, who
Who
is
can
it
I
actually
help?
going to help? She made me, she shaped me, she
Yeah.
she gave me the platform that I needed to become a wonderful person. And if this book can't help her if she needs help, well, I don't think it's worth much then if it can't help my mom. And
So
and with
has
that,
she read through it,
she's
Andre? Has
starting.
she
She's working
started?
through it, which
Oh.
is incredible. When I went home recently, I gave her a copy, wrote a little note in it, and she told me the other day she's going slowly, which is perfectly fine. But she started
Absolutely.
working through it.
Oh
And
no.
and with that, it also kind of I wrote it with the language and the concepts also to ensure that they're kind of simple enough for everybody to understand.
Mm.
So that if you have previous knowledge, you can take on the book. If you don't have previous knowledge about the concepts, it's really
So
it's written for
beneficial.
everybody.
um,
Yeah, and
it
I just
is
want
a
it to be a
remarkable
bridge.
book.
Yeah, it's just a
So
bridge between
Andre,
you and your mind.
yeah, which is fantastic. Andre, what
Mhm.
does unstoppable mean to you? What does it mean and what is its significance?
I love that question. When I first kind of took my first steps into coaching and the coaching journey, and I went through a process where the coach asked me, what if you had to look at that part of yourself that's always successful, that part of yourself that knows how to win, knows how to get things done, that's not scared of obstacles, that doesn't, doubt or worry or fear,
Mhm.
that winning part of yourself, if you had to look at that part, what would you call it? And that was like, what do you mean? What do I call this part? But I thought about it, and after a few, not even moments, I think minutes actually, I thought about unstoppable. And so when I got the idea to write this book, I made it unstoppable because to me it means you know, nothing can stop you from moving forward. There's a part within all of us that knows how to win, that knows how to succeed, that overcomes challenges, that breaks barriers, that just really, it's driven. It knows what it wants, and it goes after it. And that's what unstoppable means to me. It's not about, being the best at everything or being invincible or just you're better than everybody else. It's simply exactly what the word says, unstoppable. Nothing can stop you. There's nothing that can break down your mindset that will cause you to see failure or challenges or obstacles as an opportunity to give up or just to quit. And my hope also for calling the book Unstoppable was to give people an opportunity to find what unstoppable means for them, and maybe even create their own word for unstoppable. It doesn't have to be that word. I don't know if you have a kind of meaning for that or your own word for what I'm trying to get at.
I think the word unstoppable is a great one. Actually, I think we sat together talking about your ebook one afternoon, and I think we both came up with that that word, didn't we, in the end? I totally understand the word unstoppable. It's about resilience and about bouncing back, which is resilience, I guess. But it's not about making things easy in life. As in, I guess it does make things easy in life. I mean, life will bring obstacles your way and challenges all the time. That's why we're here. We're here to experience all of that.
We can't avoid them.
Absolutely. Well, we actually create them, but being able to navigate them and learn from them, that's why they come to us. Makes one
I get that picture. Yeah, I get that picture. Have you seen like the bullet trains? Here in China they have a lot of bullet trains, and the way they're shaped,
the
they're kind of
train last night. Movie Bullet Train.
They're kind of shaped almost menacingly. They're pointed. Like, of course, if you're gonna stand in front of a train, you're gonna get hurt. But like, just the shape and the speed, very few things will stop them. And even if they do, like something happens, even while they're crashing, they're still going forward. Like there's nothing stopping them. And now that you mention it, I owe big credit to you, because I remember our conversation about, I told you I wanted unstoppable, but I didn't know the tagline. And in our conversation, you thought you really came up with adventures and self-exploration. And that was a mind-blowing moment. I needed that tagline, that thing that ties it all together. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate
it. It's a really great effort, and a great book to just to follow, because as you said, it is really simple, and it's 31 adventures. It's not 31 lessons and you got to go through it. It is an adventure rather than a chore. Exactly. So who's unstoppable for?
I'm gonna say again, everyone. It's good for different points of your journey. I think that's one of the things I like about it, because I've been on the journey, but writing the book, I went on a new journey. There were things that I learned about myself again or discovered again just by simply writing it and working through it. So it's for people who kind of want to grow, that they know that there's room for them to reach their potential, to grow, to experience and be a bit more. it's for people who feel like they don't know themselves, who they don't know, they don't even know how to start knowing themselves. Like, what do I ask myself? Who am I? What are the answers to those questions look like? It's for people who, are facing some from problems or challenges, which they're most often creating themselves. We create our challenges, like you said. So it's for people like that who need help solving their problems. So there's a lot of problem solving, directly and indirect problem solving. In there, it's for people who just are working towards their goals, and they might not know what a goal is, or how do I get from this ambition or this thing I like, how do I turn that into a goal? And
Yeah.
more than that, how do I achieve that goal? Like, what habits and steps do I take along the way to achieve that goal? And what happens to me when I encounter challenges? How can I? It's for people who want to reframe those challenges, who maybe feel like life's a bit overwhelming at times and there are just too many obstacles. What do I do about that? It's for people who want to create a real purpose and a sense of direction in life, who want to live with more kind of intentionality. I think this book really helps you to be intentional, because it creates a time and a tool and a space for you to sit down and really use the question and the exploration to guide your thinking and your feelings towards that question, or to whatever is happening in your life. And I would say it's for young and old. I like to say I'm still young. It's for young people like me who are just starting out their adult life, and the world's ahead of them, and this kind of like dreamy-eyed
Absolutely.
sense. But it's
Dreamy-eyed
also
and
for
bushy-tailed.
yeah, it's for people who've been through more of life than I have, and who kind of want to change direction, or who are just like, what's happening? What happened? How did I get here? Or how can I get away from here? Or how can I get to this better thing that I've wanted for 30 years of my life? But so I'm gonna say it's for everybody, but maybe don't quote me on
Sounds
that.
like it is. It is.
Yeah,
Um,
don't quote.
I think what's great about it too is, Andre, is that your youth will encourage younger people to actually go deep and to discover the things about themselves that many of us only discovered in our 40s and 50s. If can you imagine? And this is what the Ark is all about. The Ark Education is all about people discovering their true potential and and empowering themselves to meet that potential. And so many of us wander around in this world for way too long. And if young people can take the bit in their mouth and go for it, can you imagine it? What a fantastic life people could lead. Absolutely.
I mean, that's
I
the ultimate
wonder.
journey, is just
Mm,
self-discovery. Like,
mm.
the only person we're with for our entire lives is ourselves.
Oh,
But what's the most
exactly.
difficult question to answer? Who are you? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny now that I say that, while I was preparing for this interview or this live, all of the answers to the questions came to me really easily. The one I thought about the most was, tell me a bit about yourself, Andre. Because I just knew you were going to ask that question, like, how we're just going to jump into the book. I knew you were going to ask that, and I'm like, what do I say? I'm so many things, and we are so many things, but yeah, it's always the most difficult question to answer, but it is. I think it really is the ultimate journey, is like, who are we? Let's discover ourselves, because if you know
Absolutely.
yourself, you can accomplish anything. Because
Absolutely.
you can shape your world, you can shape your life,
Mm,
create your experiences,
mm,
and nothing will
definitely.
hold you back. Yeah.
Yeah. It's wonderful that you've discovered that at such a young age. I'm
Mm,
actually envious in many respects. I had a good youth. Don't get me wrong, but um, and I've always been fairly introspective, and I've always known who
mm,
I am to a large extent. Um,
yeah.
but I often felt um, like I was on the sidelines because of that
Mm,
until I got older, you know. I sometimes used to roll my eyes my, my peers
yeah.
in my generation, just thinking, oh my gosh, you know,
Yeah.
guys, wake up.
There's a
But
there's definitely a lot of other exploration going on. Yeah, like it's not
there
always
sure is. There
it's
sure is.
not always all exploration.
And not to judge it, but yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I guess that's what a lot of other people are they go that way to discover ultimately who they are.
Mm,
You've
yeah.
just cut to the
It all
chase,
comes
and
back to that.
yeah, exactly. In the end, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. I wonder if you wouldn't mind, could you take us through one of your adventures in your book? Actually,
I'd love to.
before we actually even do that, could you explain to everybody the structure of the book? That
Mm.
would be, I think, would be a really good um, place to start. And then if you could take us through one of your adventures, that would be awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So each exploration, each self-exploration kind of has a quote to start off with because I mean I love quotes. I'm a sucker for a good quote and I they inspire me even if it's just for 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
each one of them starts with a quote from somebody else, who's been inspirational through their time. And then it gets to the self-exploration question, which is what it is. It's just a question about yourself. And from there, it kind of goes, I go into more detail about what does that question mean? Why is it important to you? Why should you care about that question?
Mm,
What value could it bring to your life, or how could it hold you back if you don't know the answer to this question, or if you don't make the answer or your response to it part of your daily life. And then it goes into the adventure, which for all of them includes writing, not typing. It's written in my book. Please don't type. Typing is kind of ones and zeros. It's real and it's not real. This is coming from a guy who creates PowerPoint games, by the way. So,
I
yeah.
get it.
But for the sake of this journey, it's you've got to write. So
Mm,
you're writing down your answer to the question, and for most of them, you're kind of elaborating on that answer as well. I give templates and kind of prompts of what do you write there, how do you build out your
mm,
reflection, how do you write about what you're feeling, or how do you answer the
mm.
question? Because it's very easy to ask a question like, hey, Calli, what do you value? But if you've never been taught how to answer it, what do you say? I mean, I'm drinking water. I like water, but
Yeah.
it's not something that I necessarily value. So
Yeah.
I go a
Yeah.
bit deeper into that. And that's basically, so that's one exploration is all of those steps. And I normally give a way for you to make it easier or kind of to level it up a bit, to elevate it if you want.
Yeah.
Um,
Tips and tricks and extensions.
yeah, extensions, and it all accumulates. It accumulates quite nicely with the previous explorations. Doing one helps you with the other, and soon it kind of creates like a snowball or a domino
Yes.
effect.
Yes.
All those metaphors, it creates all of them. uh,
You know.
yeah, and the first part of the book, I explain quite nicely. The space that you need to create for yourself. You know what you need to allow yourself to feel or do when you're working through this book, because it's not a reading book, it's a doing book. You can't just sit and read it. So, I share about how you can be kind to yourself when working through the book, because ultimately you want it to be a good habit that you practice every day. So let me quickly share my screen if that's okay.
Sounds fantastic.
And I'll do
There's 31 of these adventures, isn't there?
Yeah, 31. Yeah.
Andre, one for every day of the month.
Basically, yeah.
And a 31-day month.
you might not believe me, but I didn't plan for it to be like a month-long thing. I wrote them out and I worked through them. I deleted some and added some. It's a process, as I'm sure you know with your ebook as well. And it ended up being 30, and I added a sneaky little extra one to make it 31. So
just in case it's a 31-day month.
It worked out nicely. Sorry, February. Maybe do it in a different.
Don't do it in February.
Don't do it in February. To see my book sales going down in February. Don't do it in February, guys.
You will never finish it.
Yeah. And don't start on April Fool's Day either. That's not right.
Right. Okay, let's get a bit more serious here, shall we?
Sorry, yeah. So this is exploration 2. It starts quite nicely with a quote from an anonymous source. And the exploration. So this first part is the question, what outcomes do I want to achieve today, this week, or this month? You can see it's kind of a broad question already, and it assumes that you know what an outcome is, you know how to find them. Yeah. And it also assumes that you're already kind of looking for these things in your life, which life can be quite busy. We're not always looking for these things. So in this part, I really detail out a bit more about what an outcome is. How can you go about finding one? What do they look like? Why it's important to look for outcomes in your life. And I help you. I think in this one specifically, I talk a lot about not the how of getting the outcome. It's just about focusing on the outcome itself and what it looks like to find the outcome and to achieve it. And this one is special actually because there's actually a process which I teach called intention setting. And intention setting helps you to really visualize these outcomes and to visualize yourself achieving them, the feelings that go along with it. And it kind of helps you to get familiar with, whoa, you've achieved something in your mind through visualization and through setting this intention and telling yourself, I'm going to do this, and this is what it looks like when I've achieved it. So that's intention setting is really good for that. So I share how to do intention setting, which you use then every single day for the rest of the explorations for as long as you'd like. For each part of your day, for each outcome, I'm not going to go into that detail now. And after that, it's the adventure, which in this case, it's an easy adventure because after you've read the question and you've kind of learned a little bit about what the outcome is, or what an outcome is, how you're going to find one, how to set intentions. Your adventure is basically writing down or journaling a few outcomes that you think you might have. And this could be something like getting safely to work, writing a report, eating dinner before 7 p.m. Like, it can be anything. So people can write down their intentions, their outcomes, and the adventure is just to write it down and start. Do one session of intention setting, which takes 5 minutes if you're really going intensely into it. And it just kind of helps you to start small. And I love this part at the end. This I accept the adventure or I cannot accept. And the wording is very specific because it's a very difficult thing to take responsibility. And this is all written out very nicely, I'd like to think it's all there. And if everybody in the world kind of used the powerful questions and the important questions that we need to deal with every day, the world, everybody would be successful, be happy, they'll be able to work through challenges and things like that. It's very difficult to take responsibility, and I acknowledge that. We all know there are times where it's difficult. So this part is really crucial.
And yet,
you have to
every
accept.
choice we make, we have to take responsibility for,
Yeah.
whether we like it or not, because
We do.
every choice we make has consequences. So
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Having that information is not enough. This one line is a choice, and it's a really powerful choice because it's you letting yourself know that you're committed. So you can choose. You can choose to accept the adventure, or again, this word cannot is very specifically chosen because it means that you're unable to. It's not I don't accept. Because if you say I don't accept, you can add an external reason for that. You could not accept it because of this or because of that. But I cannot accept it. You're taking responsibility that you are unable to do this. And again, because this is means for you to reflect inwards again and see what is it within me that's making this difficult. And in a way, these two lines alone could be so valuable, because if you've done the exploration question on outcomes, you've read about it, you've done intention setting, you've seen this adventure, and you think, I still can't do it, or I don't want to do it. It's a lesson for you about what's kind of holding you back, about perhaps there's some belief or some doubt or worry or negativity. It's already a valuable lesson. And again, if you experience that, write it down. If you experience that you can't accept the adventure, it doesn't stop there. You can write it down. You can, write about your feelings, about what's going on inside your head, your thoughts, your fears, why this is not something that's possible for you. Because there are some difficult questions, and not every day do you want to answer those difficult questions. And if that's your reason, if that's your reason, that's okay. That's your reason. Write it down. Tell yourself why you don't want to do it today, because already that's a form of acceptance and self-love. If you're unable to do it, let's say it's a Sunday, right? It's a Sunday, you've had a tough week. I can't do this because I'm feeling really tired and I just need to check out, let's say. That's wonderful, because you've assessed how you're feeling. You understand yourself on this day. You understand what you need and value on this day. And you're also telling yourself that this is not because I'm a bad person or because there's something wrong with me. You're very clear on your reasoning, right? And so the book kind of it sets you up in that way where you take responsibility and you spend time with yourself, whether you're answering the question or not. That's what you're doing.
I love the fact that there is the option of not accepting it, because all too often in personal development there can be this huge push or influence for only the positive, or what you see as perceive as positive, that you have to accept this. You have to accept this. If you're a good person, you have to accept this. But in this, it gives room for reality. It gives room for acceptance, actually. In accepting it or not accepting it, it's allowing people to basically acknowledge where they're at and why they're there. It's lovely.
You summed it up perfectly. It allows room for reality. I love that.
Definitely.
Beautiful.
So you've done the second adventure here. And you said before that they build up on each other.
They do, yes.
So tell us about what the third and fourth adventure would bring if somebody was going to be. If you just tell us
I'd love to
about
do.
that, that
Yeah.
would be great.
So the third exploration looks at your challenges, right? So it's wonderful. We've set these outcomes like, wow, this is great. But of course, this is life. There will be some challenges. So the third exploration helps you to look at the challenges and more specifically how you can reframe the way that you're thinking about the challenges and
Yeah.
your internal dialogue, your self-talk, your stories about the outcomes that you need to achieve and the challenges you'll face along the way. Because at the end of the day, you're creating the reality, you're creating your response to the challenge, and you're creating the mindset that you'll have going into it. And if you're telling yourself, I cannot overcome this challenge, this problem is too big, I'm very sorry, but the reality that you create is the reality that you experience.
Yes.
But if you're telling yourself something different, you're setting yourself up to succeed, to change those challenges, and even like the kind of neutral events, you're turning them into something positive. So this exploration helps you find the outcome. Exploration 3 kind of balances it out. Oh, I think the screen share went away.
That was me. Sorry.
Okay. Wow, I thought my computer was really getting too smart for a second. Yeah, the third exploration, don't worry, kind of balances it out and
And then the
understands
fourth
reality.
one.
And the fourth one helps you make use of even more resources that you have. So the fourth one is about what personal qualities do you have? What personal qualities do the people around you have that can help you to get over these challenges or just to reach the outcomes? Because we forget that we are people with skills, we're people with strengths, we're surrounded by people who have different strengths. It took me weeks to think of like the tagline for the book. In like 1 2 minute conversation with you, you were like, oh, great, just call it this. Why don't we call it this? And so that quality that you have, that strength that you have is something I can rely on. And we need to remind ourselves that there's this whole list of qualities and strengths, things that we're good at, that we can rely on to achieve our outcomes and to overcome challenges. So just as an example,
other
exploration.
people's
Yes.
abilities
Yes.
and talents,
Yes.
and that's what
So,
the art is all about, is connecting.
Yes,
and
connecting people.
collaborating and sharing that. And that's what I love about this book and about working with people like you, Andre. That's the exciting part, is that connection, that collaboration, that cross-pollination.
Yeah.
We're creating beautiful flowers here, beautiful fruit,
Yeah. Beautiful. So
which is really remarkable, really.
Yeah. It ties in, and together we can be unstoppable. Like together we can achieve so many different things, and we don't need to feel overwhelmed by everything that we're facing because there are so many people around us. And just it's about perspective as well. Our perspectives are different, even though our values or our end goals might be the same, and that change of perspective can be really powerful.
That's because our unconscious beliefs are different, because we've all had different life experiences which create those unconscious beliefs. So,
You're speaking my language now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, how can people get their copy of Unstoppable? And building on that, how can they contact you? Because I do know that you also do coaching around around unstoppable, around being unstoppable.
Yeah. So
Tell us
currently my
about a
book
little
is
bit
out.
about that.
Yeah, my book is it's out on Amazon already, on all the different
Mhm,
countries. I think it's UK, US, AU. I'm not
mhm.
sure where else Amazon is, but it's on Amazon. If you
Yeah,
just search for Unstoppable or my name, you should be able to
yeah,
find it. I think, could we share a link to that later on, under the
absolutely,
video?
absolutely. I'll share a link to your.
So that's kind
We.
of for the international market. Because I'm South African, it's very important to
Mhm,
me that it's available in South Africa as well. So
mhm.
this week, actually, I've been in talks with people to get
Oh
it on
wow.
Take a Lot. If you're a South African, you know what Take a Lot is. It's like kind of Amazon, and I'm in talks of getting hard copies on
Yeah,
there, which people could purchase very soon. I'll
yeah.
update you and update people on my social media as well,
Mhm,
when
mhm.
that's available. But other than that, digital copies are available on my website already. It's
Yeah.
www.andrenelcoaching.com, and
Mhm.
there's a little tab at the top that says Unstoppable.
Mhm.
You can click on that and get your
Okay.
digital copy of the book
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Also, my website is where you can connect with me to find out more about my coaching. Um, I've I've got my bookings page on there where people can reach out to me. I love talking to people about these things. So honestly, if you have Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp, just anything via my website, there's contact forms. Just send me a message, just get the conversation going. And I just, because I'd love to help people find their potential, whether that's through me, through themselves, through the book, in whichever way suits them. Yeah, I just love to connect with people. And
Uh,
have I missed something? Yes. I I haven't admittedly I haven't had much time or put much time into social media, but it's something that, Calli, you inspired me to do a lot, and something that I'm putting time into now. So very soon I'm on Facebook already at Andre Nel Coaching is my page. I'm on Instagram under the same name. I'll be populating those social media platforms very soon. I'm on LinkedIn. So I'd love
with
to connect
me, with me at your back with a cattle prod going,
there.
come on, do
I promise. I promise I'll do it.
it. You've got so much material, and um you'll be brilliant, absolutely brilliant on there, and you bring so much value to all our conversations. So being able to give that out to the world, I think, is a real gift. And
I love our
yeah,
conversations. It's so
just
nice to
keep
talk to people
doing it.
about these things because it's just an exchange of energy and ideas, and it's much easier in a way than talking to like a camera, or a phone screen or something,
Yes,
which is probably
exactly.
one of the challenges that I've had to like work through and reframe.
Yeah,
Um, Perhaps
haven't
I'll
we
stick a
all?
picture. I'll stick a picture of you behind there somewhere, pretend I'm talking to you. But I
Yeah.
love having these conversations. They're so fruitful, and we always end up speaking longer than we probably intended to, which I think is just fantastic. It's never
Absolutely.
boring.
So, how do you tell me a little bit about your coaching business, about what you do and how you do it when
Mm,
you're working with people? Um,
okay.
Obviously, it's mostly on Zoom because you're
Yeah.
in China and
I
wherever.
don't
There's
know whose fault
probably
that
not
is.
a lot of people that would take up your coaching business there, but well,
Yeah.
there would be some people, I'm sure. But just tell us how it works and how people can get hold of
Yeah.
you and all that.
No problem. Yeah. So far my main kind of point of contact has been my website, Andre Nel Coaching. And on there you can download a detailed breakdown of my coaching program, and you can on at a glance learn more about what I do and how it can help you, and the steps that we go through. And from there, You can book your first session, which is free. I love to offer a free session because it just breaks that barrier and gets rid of the fear of paying. I don't know if I can pay this guy and
Yeah.
all of those things. So
And
it's
also, how do you pay somebody you don't really know, especially
yes.
doing something like life
You probably
coaching with
shouldn't. Yeah, I think
any
that's the
person?
advice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot myself as a coach in the foot and say, don't pay me unless you've like heard me speak, or you're familiar with my work. So yeah, on there's a bookings page. It's very easy to make a booking and
Mhm.
share, why you're interested in coaching. In terms of the program itself, it falls into three big parts. I think the first one is self-discovery, finding who you are, finding your purpose. And we talk a lot about values, the conscious versus subconscious, and how they differ and maybe create some conflict or challenges in your life. And the second part going from there is kind of helping you to unlock your potential, letting go of those horrible negative beliefs that are holding you back, those
Mm.
filters, like narrowing down your vision, letting go of those negative emotions that just drain your energy and just take you away completely from the things that you'd like to have and from
Mm.
achieving your goals. We work on, some of the inner conflicts that you have within you. Like I mentioned at the start with Unstoppable, that sometimes there are different parts that want the same thing, but they're working against each other, and it
Mm.
makes it difficult for you to move forward. So we release those
Mm.
conflicts, those beliefs, those emotions, which really helps you to unlock a lot of energy, a lot of positive growth, and kind of directed energy towards your goals and your purpose. And from there, we start building out your goals, your plans to achieve them, how you should visualize and go about setting them, the habits that you need to build in order to get those goals. Because a goal, you're not going to achieve it if you're not building the habits to put yourself in the right position. How
Mm.
to unlock and get rid of and untangle those bad habits, which we do. And what's great about my coaching program is we almost go directly into the subconscious, which is really awesome because it's the powerhouse, it's the driver of your life,
Mm. Mm.
and it's where you need to be, where you need to be making that change if you want it to last for a really long
Absolutely.
time.
It's what's creating your reality. Your
Yes.
subconscious creates your reality. And
And we do that, and we build
mm,
out your new self-image. You get to choose and write who you want to be, how you want to see yourself. And keep in mind, you get to do this without those negative beliefs that were holding you back a few weeks ago, right? We've already let go of them. So this is like the new perfect self-vision that you want to have. And I've got some processes that we work through to kind of put them there in your subconscious mind.
mm.
And the last part, the most beautiful part, the culmination, is your ultimate life vision.
Mm.
It's it's a wonderful, eye-opening, powerful, but simple process that just it helps you to really, really lock in where you want to go in your life and who you want to be and how you want to live it. And
Mm.
it may seem like a scary thing to think about before you start, or if you're feeling overwhelmed in your current
Mm.
position. But when you work through the program, things just fall off you, because we
Mm.
spend time talking about you and talking
Mm.
about discovering yourself and letting go of things. And it really helps. And by that stage, creating your life vision is like a joyous thing. It's a celebration. Mine when I did it the first time, it was I think 20 A4 pages. Uh
Wow.
I, I don't think it was back to front, so I'm just gonna say one side. 20 A4 pages, yeah.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
it's an incredibly powerful program.
Mm.
And yeah, I'd love to
And
share
how
it with
long
people.
is the program, Andre?
It's
How long did
it's
you
an 18-hour
spend?
program, which can be worked through pretty quickly if that's what the person prefers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it could also be a once a week, twice a week, or once every
Mm.
second week thing. I generally don't, we got to spend at least a week because at a certain point, like 2 days is perhaps too short.
Mm.
We've
Mm.
got to spend a few weeks, but also it shouldn't take more than 4 months or 3 months, let's say, because
Yeah.
if you extend it too
Otherwise, you
long,
lose momentum.
you lose momentum and you change actually. If you wait too long, your responses to the questions previously are actually really different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're irrelevant after a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't realize, I always get a little bit antsy when people bring out that age-old quote of, or the age-old idiom of, um, a leopard never changes its spots, because I don't
Mm,
believe that at all. As human beings, that is one of our gifts, I guess, is that we are totally able to and do change all the time.
yes, we do.
Yeah,
We do. It's not always visible in,
yeah.
but we do
Not
change.
always. Yeah, it's
This
not
week
always
when I was
visible.
making
Yeah.
this week when I was making some videos, I was planning them a little bit and I was like, hey, if you want to change your life, you have to change your mind. That's a good one. That's a good one. So yeah, it kind of builds onto your point, because the reality we have is within us, that's really hopeful.
Mm,
Because that means if what we're experiencing out there, I'm gonna say, is not to our liking, well, there's hope because the power to change it is within you. And that's a really
absolutely.
great gift that we've been given.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's a hopeful
It's
thing.
it's an
Yeah.
I absolutely love what you're doing, Andre. We have spoken briefly about your plans to take this book and turn it into a group coaching session or program.
Mm.
How's that concept and idea forming in your mind at the moment?
It's forming, yeah, it's going well. I think I'm piecing a lot of the pieces together. It's something that I would really, really love to do. I think it would be such an effective and enjoyable way to go through a process of self-exploration, to go through
Mm,
adventures and discovery, because as we've touched on, just the two of us having a conversation, that's already a lot more powerful than
mm.
you know than
Just
than
keep
other
going through
methods
it on
of
your own.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So
And
if
often,
you
sorry, carry
sorry, you
on.
can. I'm thinking of a at least 3 to 5 people at least. We'll get together, and at the moment, because I haven't tried it out yet, I think one exploration per session. We get together. There's 3 to 5 people. I'm there as kind of the mediator, and we introduce the exploration question, and we talk a little bit about it. And everybody shares their opinion because obviously my opinion is not the only opinion that matters. In fact, it's probably their opinion that matters more, actually. So
Mm,
people share their opinion, they share their ideas. We look at the adventure and we kind of think about how we're going to tackle that. And we start just by speaking about it. And people obviously would need to bring a notebook. That will be one of my biggest requirements. Have a
yeah.
notebook, write things down, and enjoy going through the process of self-exploration with others, because we are social people. We're social creatures. We need interaction with others in order to have
Mm,
a fulfilling life. And actually, probably in order to have a healthy mind and a body. So it would just be a wonderful thing, that exchange of ideas, that communication between
mm.
people. And I think as the ideas have been mulling over in my head, I've been thinking a lot about friends who do this together. Imagine like your best friends just
I
doing
was
this
about to
together and
say that.
learning
I was
so
about to
many
say that.
things.
I
Families,
think
wow,
something like this
getting
would
together.
really benefit a group of friends doing it together, because friends know each other, and quite often people see things about you that you either don't want to see or refuse to
Hmm.
see, or are too self-critical to see. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And yeah, and also you trust your friends and family.
Yeah.
It's a very vulnerable position to be in when you're talking about yourself in those
It
deep terms. So
Mm.
you'd have to build a real sort of trusting environment
It
to
would, yeah.
start off with, wouldn't you?
I think it will be a beautiful opportunity. Because you know, as we went through exploration 2, 3, and 4, you know, the fourth one is already asking you, what do the people around you have within themselves that could help you? And if your friends are there learning about perhaps this challenge or this goal, and I mean, we don't always share our goals with our friends, you know, this is not always where the conversation leads.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just imagined the kind of meaningful relationships that will build. And that in itself is already an incredible benefit, just the stronger relationships that friends, and I think family members, it could be even more powerful. I think, I don't know if I'm wrong in saying this, but I think often friends know more about one another than what family members do, depending, you know, on how your family is. I think it would be an amazing opportunity. And perhaps there's potential to adapt some of it for children, you know. Parents could start fostering these kinds of questions and reflections and intentional thinking and living in their kids, so that they could grow up to be who they want to be and experience their full potential. I think it's a really wonderful path forward. I've got one person said to me, she bought my book and she said, I mentioned to her that this is something I'm thinking about. And she said, Andrea, I want to do this, right? I want to do this. I told her, yeah, we need to find more people. But yeah, you know, already one person is interested. She's there. So
Sounds fantastic.
I'm hoping to
I
put
think it would be a
into.
really remarkable experience to actually
I think so too.
take
And
part in.
from a
So
personal point, I'd love to hear what people, how they respond, you know, in person live to working through the book. How can I change it to make it even better, to help people even more, to help different kinds of people, because we're all different and we take in information different, we process it differently. Yeah, it would be, it would make us
absolutely.
all unstoppable. I'm gonna say that.
It
It
certainly
would make
would.
us all unstoppable.
And
Yeah.
and it is my vision or ambition or whatever you'd like to call it, to change our education system so that we are actually doing more of this stuff
Mm.
with our kids
That would be
and
beautiful, I
making
think.
that more important than
Mm.
even academic achievement, because all the academic and what I feel is periphery stuff actually falls into place once you've got that
Mm.
foundation of knowing yourself, being
Okay.
being unstoppable, you know,
Mm.
being empowered, um,
Yeah.
all those sorts of things. So thank you so much, Andre. It's so wonderful to
Wonderful. Thank you.
number one to be working with you, and
Mhm.
it's a real privilege. You've given me as much as I've given you, believe you me, if not more. And I really hope that everybody who has been watching this, who is watching this now at the moment, um, goes to your website and has a look for your book. It's
Mm.
it's it's not, it doesn't cost a fortune.
Mm.
And it's a great place to start if you are looking for something that will show you your purpose and lead you to where you need to be. And I really got to say thank you so much for being on here tonight. And
Oh, the
well,
pleasure is
tonight,
mine. Thank
here,
you so much.
today.
Yeah.
And if anybody
Yeah.
has we've only got 3 people left on the live at the moment, but if you've got any questions, please put them on in the comments, and both Andre and I will keep answering them as the days go by. It will stay up on the Ark Education easy page.
Calli, thank you so much for this opportunity and this
thank
conversation. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you.
And so sorry about the technical issues, but who knows what happens in cyberspace.
It probably help us to breathe and relax and just flow into it. Give us a mind.
Divine timing, let's put it down to that.
Yes, for sure. Thank you, Calli.
Thank you, Andre, and have a really, really wonderful rest of your week. And we will definitely catch up again soon, I'm sure.
Yes.
We're going to say goodnight to everyone at the moment, and we'll continue our conversation afterwards if you'd like to. Good night, everyone.
Fun.
Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone.
For coming on live, and please leave your questions and comments in the comment section, and we'll see you again soon.